Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge, presented by Georgia Alabama Sports Live. And you are listening to us on Home of Southern Sports, WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key. So I'm trying something different here. I'm actually on Facebook Live, and this is going to be an occurrence on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, where I will have a sports update show that will air on my Facebook Live page and eventually the Georgia Alabama Sports Live page at noon. So it's going to be a show where I update everything locally to the Chattahoochee Valley and also some of the local sports in Georgia. But we do have a jam-packed show. For the radio audience only, I have a ton of guests that I plan on airing on the show that is aired on WQEE Monday through Friday from 2 to 3. So I got a pretty good show for your radio audience only, as I'll have the Columbus Blue Devils head high school football coach, Robert Peters, and then I'll also have my NFL 32 teams in 32 days, where I will preview the Los Angeles Rams. But for this portion, I'll go about 15 to 20 minutes from Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, starting at noon. Yeah, so let's go ahead and update my audience. It's been a while since I've done one of these Facebook Live things. A lot has changed. The platform has changed, and I am now on TikTok. I'm excited about this. I know that I was shying away from TikTok for the past 4 years. I've been doing this podcast for about 4.5 years, and I was really hesitant about joining that TikTok audience, but I realized that I don't have that many TikTok followers just yet because I just started up my TikTok page. I've had more views on my reels that I've had, like 1-minute segments of my hottest sports takes, some of my coolest guests, and some of the things that they talked about when it comes to sports. I've had more views on those videos than I have ever had in the history of my podcast. So it's a big thing, and I am excited about that. I'm also on Instagram. I also upload these short reels on Instagram, and I also upload the short reels on my Facebook page, The Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge. Now, a lot of you have not subscribed to the Facebook page. I mean, I've been putting them on my personal Facebook page, which is fine, and you've been supporting me and watching the videos, but go and like and subscribe to the Facebook page as well. And if you happen to miss the show, all the audio versions of the show are found on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts. And by the way, this is episode 878, just in case you're keeping score at home. I'm getting closer and closer to 900 episodes. Every time I do a milestone, I reflect back how I got here, how I became a podcaster, and it was dumb luck. It really was. I've always wanted to, but I didn't have credibility. The minute I got on 95.7 ESPN radio for a couple of episodes, that gave me credibility, and that's where I got the podcast going. By the way, I want to give a special happy birthday to a very special guest. He was my first guest on the Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge back in 2020. He happens to be my brother-in-law. Happy birthday, Ryan Frederick. I know that you are celebrating your birthday with your family, and it was great just spending time with you during vacation as well. And continue loving sports as you do, because you've always been just a very knowledgeable sports person that is passionate about sports, and I really appreciate you helping me out in the beginning of my podcast, coming on my show, and I was an unknown 4 years ago, and my brother-in-law helped me out being my first guest, and for that I appreciate him so much. All right, let's go ahead and get into some of the things that are happening in the world of sports. Now, this is being aired at noon on a Wednesday, so approximately 3 hours we will have the United States game against South Sudan. And remember, the last time they played in the showcase, they only won by 1 point. And South Sudan, who upset Puerto Rico, if they win, South Sudan is going to advance out of the group. They still have a chance to advance out of the group with a win over Serbia. But this is going to be a very interesting game. Let's see if the United States can continue building that momentum and just putting the game away. But you have to give credit to Luol Deng, who has really elevated the program using his own money. He had big contracts with the Los Angeles Lakers. In fact, the Lakers were paying him for 3 seasons when he wasn't even in the league. And he has used his own money to help support South Sudan basketball. So good luck to him. I'm pulling for just South Sudan to have a good game and to show promise and to compete. I want to see these countries try to compete. Yes, I want to see the United States win the gold. But I also like the competitiveness of basketball. Speaking of which, I've caught a little bit of this 3x3 basketball tournament. It's very short. I think that I was a good basketball player when it comes to playing minimal minutes as possible. I wasn't the type that could hang with 10 guys in a full court, but 3x3 basketball is fun. It's very low scoring. There was a 17-13 score. Jimmer Fredette's in this. And then a very special lady that is from my alma mater, Fried-Hardeman University, plays for the Spanish team for 3x3 basketball. And so I just want to give a big shout out to her as well. And then let's go ahead and talk about some of the Olympics updates. Simone Biles, the most decorated gymnast in Olympic history, wins the gold medal with Team USA winning the gold medal, to include Simone Biles, who did an incredible triple flip on the balance beam. Are you kidding me? That is absolutely incredible. You got Auburn alum Suni Lee, who won the overall gold medal in 2021 during the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, also on this team as well. And right now, your latest medal count, the United States leads the way with 26 medals. The host country, France, has got 20 medals, and Great Britain has got 16 medals. The United States only has 4 gold medals, but we'll see some of the other events that are happening. So, let's talk about the Atlanta Braves, because Bryce Elder, who was an All-Star last year, he does pick up the win. The Braves, seems like they're trying to get the band back together, right? You know, acquiring Luke Jackson and Jorge Soler from the Giants. Yeah, they traded away Tyler Matzik, and we wish him nothing but the best of luck. I mean, it was Tyler Matzik who had 2 runners on against the Dodgers in the NLCS in the 2021 season, struck out the side. Braves fans will never forget that, because Tyler Matzik was a hero in that NLCS, and he is now on the San Francisco Giants. Well, lucky me, as a Giants fan, I'm happy about that. But also as a Giants fan, I'm sad to see Jorge Soler go, because I thought this was going to be the power hitter that the Giants desperately needed, that they haven't really had since Barry Bonds. I'll be honest with you. They haven't really built their team around a power hitter. Somebody like an Aaron Judge, who I thought was going to go to San Francisco. They haven't really made the big splash when it comes to MLB free agency. But let me tell you something. I do appreciate what Tyler Matzik did for the Atlanta Braves. And now you get Jorge Soler back in a Braves uniform. He was the catalyst. He had the moonshot in Game 1 of the 2021 World Series against the Houston Astros. Sorry, Rex. I know that brings back some bad memories. But, you know, we kid around. We said that ball landed like a month ago. I mean, I remember getting on my show, and I said, as a joke, breaking news, Jorge Soler's ball just landed, and it was like a month later. But it was really a captivative, timeless memory in Atlanta Braves history. And maybe they could rekindle some of that magic, getting guys like Jorge Soler. They already have Adam Duvall. They already have Eddie Rosario. Now getting Luke Jackson. Why not try to go after Jock Peterson? I know a couple years ago they were thinking about it. And you're getting these players on the cheap. I think that Alex Anthopoulos, he's playing with house money right now. With all the injuries, why not the Braves go after players that have that postseason experience? Because when you get into the postseason, it's game on. And the Atlanta Braves can try to catch fire. I don't think they need pitching, though. I think that Spencer Schwallenbach, I think that Bryce Elder, Ronaldo Lopez is going to come back from injury. I like the 1-2 punch of Max Fried and Chris Sale. I think the Braves starting pitching is going to be fine. You also have Luke Jackson. I know he had some criticism, especially giving up just big home runs, especially against the Dodgers. But Luke Jackson was the most dominant middle reliever that the Braves had in the 2021 season. So let's not get that twisted. I think that getting Luke Jackson back is a very good move. And as the MLB trade deadline has passed, I just don't know how to make sense of this MLB trade deadline. As, the rich just continue getting richer. I mean, come on. You look at what the Dodgers trying to do as they just continue to build. And when you sign players like Freddie Freeman and you move Max Muncy over to third, that is just the equivalent of the rich getting richer. And I mean, they've had some injuries, Chris Taylor, Miguel Rojas, but make no mistake, the Dodgers were big players in the trade deadline. And so I'm trying to get my thoughts together. All right. Yeah. Hey, why don't we go ahead and take a break? When we come back, we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk some more baseball as the trade deadline has passed. You are watching the Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge, presented by Georgia Alabama Sports Live, and we'll be right back.
We love being able to go to the different high school, colleges, middle schools to live broadcast sporting events around the area. Georgia Alabama Sports Live appreciates all the fan support, but without a presenting sponsor like Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC in Opelika, none of this would be possible. So we want to say thank you so much. Go to glennsmith.com. That is right, glennsmith.com. See all the inventory and see why people always say, get ready to smile. Thanks, everyone, and thank you to Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC for being our presenting sponsor.
Welcome back to the Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge, presented by Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Speaking of which, later tonight, Thrift Behringer and I will be live from the showroom at Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC in Opelika for our live show. I'm excited because next week, this podcast will fall under the Georgia Alabama Sports Live blanket. It's already presented by Georgia Alabama Sports Live, but now we are going to include it into the Georgia Alabama Sports Live lineup. So this podcast at noon, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, will be on the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Facebook page. And also, it is going to be on WQEE as well. And I'm privileged to announce that I'm also going to be helping out producing the debut of Rick Beach and Kutsu Sports, as that will air on Georgia Alabama Sports Live's Facebook page and YouTube channel. I'm excited about that. I was actually behind the camera yesterday for the Brookstone Coaches Show, as Thrift Behringer did an outstanding job interviewing all the Brookstone coaches. And we have just about wrapped up sitting down with an athletics director state of the programs. We still got a couple more schools that we're trying to get, and we're hoping to get them done. Don't forget, this Friday, we've got Muskogee County's High School Football Media Day, and that is going to be at the Muskogee County School District. The athletic director, Jeff Battles, just been putting on just a great event. We were a part of it last year as we live streamed it, and we plan on live streaming it on Georgia Alabama Sports Live as well. And we're looking forward to talking to all the high school football coaches in the Columbus area from the public schools. We have 3 brand new head football coaches that we are going to talk to, including Columbus football coach Robert Peters, Jordan football coach Aaron McDaniel, and Kendrick football coach Emmanuel Brown. So I'm excited, looking forward to talking to all the high school football coaches in Muskogee County for Muskogee County Media Day. And then Saturday morning, we will have Brookstone Media Day as Rance Gillespie, the head football coach of the Brookstone Cougars, is going to have some of his players as well be a part of Brookstone Media Day. And I'm looking forward to that. And then next week, we just hit the ground running because we're going to have a lot of sporting events to include volleyball and softball this year on the lineup for Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Should be a lot of fun. I can't wait. I'm actually privileged to announce, with high school football being 15 days away, we do have the Corky Kell Dave Hunter Classic up in Atlanta. And we got some local teams in the Corky Kell Dave Hunter Classic to include LaGrange. They're taking on Douglas of Atlanta. And then on Friday, we have Callaway taking on Cass. So that should be a lot of fun. A big shout out to BTV Sports Kevin Eckleberry. Hopefully, I'm going to get him on the show next week so we can preview LaGrange, Troup County, and Callaway for this upcoming high school football season. If you missed my interview with GPB Sports anchor John Nelson, it was absolutely incredible. And it was one of those interviews where I was educated about high school football in the state of Georgia, because he has, in my mind, the most knowledge when it comes to high school football in the state of Georgia. And then August the 16th, we will have Georgia Alabama Sports Live covering the week 1 of high school football. And throughout the year, I will give score updates when it comes to high school football, college football, the NFL. We are just going to hit the ground running here on the Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge, presented by Georgia Alabama Sports Live. I want to thank Thrift Behringer for giving me this platform. And as our team is continuing to grow, I'm excited about being an on-air talent and a producer, as when you're doing the broadcasting thing, it's very important that you are well versed. You just can't be an on-air talent. You also got to be a producer. You got to be able to get behind the camera, learn all the technical functions about the camera, OBS, editing software, and just putting together video and audio and just uploading it to social media. You got to have all that knowledge, because it's definitely just a team effort, a big picture thing, trying to get your content out there. And now that I'm on a new platform on TikTok, it is a game changer. I'm telling you, I cannot believe how many views I have gotten on TikTok. And why didn't I do this 4 years ago? I don't know, because I was a little hesitant about getting on TikTok. And that's one of those platforms that can be dangerous, but it can also be very useful if you're doing it right. All right, that is it. That is my show for Facebook Live. Don't forget, 2 o'clock, my show will air on WQEE, as this show will actually air Thursday, as I will have Columbus head football coach Robert Peters, and I'm also going to do my NFL 32 teams in 32 days with the Los Angeles Rams. It's not 32 straight days. I started this July 1st with the Atlanta Falcons, and I haven't had shows 5 days a week. I've put out some content from the Georgia Alabama Sports Live show, the athletic director interviews, the coaches interviews. I've been putting that down as my content, and so gradually I'm trying to get all 32 NFL teams before the season starts. I mean, we've got the Hall of Fame game coming up this Thursday, the Houston Texans and the Chicago Bears. I am excited to see that matchup between C.J. Stroud and Caleb Williams, as football is just right around the corner, and I am excited to cover it all. Thank you so much once again for watching and listening to the Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge. Have a great rest of your day, everybody, and we will see you soon.